I extend a very warm welcome to everyone who joined us today for the webinar. My name is Palak and I work with Gen Next Education as a college guidance advisor. I also have with me my colleagues based out of US, Canada, and India respectively. Welcome aboard Adi, Ben, Chandra, and Bhumi. As some of you may know, Gen Next Education is an international education organization based in India and North America. We provide free comprehensive counseling to students and families, helping them find their right fit universities, right from their application to pre-departure and beyond. We also support high schools with a range of services to meet their counseling and global education needs. Through these webinar series, we want to provide you with opportunities to explore and hopefully better understand popular courses of study by connecting you with university insiders who will cover not only the admissions and scholarships aspect, but also the course itself, components like research, internship, as well as potential career avenues. Today, we are featuring University of Guelph, based in Canada. It is our university partner. University of Guelph's engineering program is one of the most popular courses, and it gives me immense pleasure to introduce our insiders from the university. We have with us Dr. Prasad Daggupati, Dr. Manickavasagan Annamalai, Dr. Manjusri Misra, Dr. Animesh Dutta from the Water Resources, Biological and Mechanical Engineering Department. Alongside, we also have Ms. Hilary Roykers, who is a recruitment officer, and Mr. Christopher Beckett, Industry Liaison Officer for Research and External Partnership at the School of Engineering. They will be moderating and taking over the presentation in a short while. Before I hand over to them, I would also like to introduce Mr. Jimmi Hemmenbach, Regional Operations Manager for Middle East and South Asia from their International Admissions Office. He will be addressing all your admissions and scholarship related queries. Students, we also have with us two students, one international student and one domestic student. Abhinav Chatterjee, who's a fifth-year co-op student. He will be sharing his international student experience at Guelph with you. And we also have Spencer, who's a computer engineering, again, a co-op student, fifth-year co-op student, and he will be taking all the queries pertaining to computer engineering. As you can see, it is a packed house, and as they will take you through the presentation, we understand that you will have ample questions. We assure you that those will be addressed towards the end of the session. A couple of housekeeping rules for all our students right here. Please keep yourself muted as the panelists speak. You may type in your questions in the Q&A section at the bottom of your screen. And now, without wasting any further time, I hand it over to Chris and Hilary.
Well, great. Thank you very much. And I just wanted to say on behalf of our students and faculty on our panel that are joining here that we're very, very happy to be with you today, and thank you for welcoming us. I'm going to start our presentation with an overview of our School of Engineering at the University of Guelph. And I'm going to start with why choose the University of Guelph. Just a few points that we like to touch on when we're talking about our university as a whole. We are considered to be one of the top comprehensive universities in all of Canada, and by comprehensive university, we mean a university that has a broad range of topics and majors and studies. We are well known for our student experience. We are a very student-centered university with your experience at the top of mind. You'll see here that we do receive top marks from Maclean's. Maclean's is a Canadian magazine that issues a university ranking annually, and the University of Guelph excels in the area of student experience, as I had suggested. With $146 million in annual research funding, we attract more money than any other university in Canada without a medical school. Here in Canada, that's where the division lies between medical schools and comprehensive schools. At $23 million awarded to over 7,500 students in 2017-2018, that goes to show our commitment to making our students as comfortable as possible and putting them in a position to succeed. So those are student support awards funded by both the university, funded by donors, and geared towards rewarding both the students that show academic excellence, but also in some cases supporting those that show financial need. We're very proud of the fact that we have one of the highest female science, technology, engineering, and math student populations. It's very important to us. Our university is led by a female president, and so are many of our colleges. And a couple of years ago now, notably, we did receive close to a $77 million single grant investment from our federal government to start the digital food revolution. University of Guelph Beyond Engineering is very well known for its life sciences and agriculture programs. So why engineering? There's a number of reasons why engineering. I'm just going to go through some of them, but one of the things that makes us a fairly unique engineering school is our focus on hands-on design. And we often talk about this design spine through our undergraduate years. And that is one design course every year where all students in all majors come together to tackle the same assignment in interdisciplinary groups. So this leads to one of our renowned strengths across the country and across the globe, really, in producing students that producing engineers that are very, very well equipped to enter the workforce, be critical thinkers, be independent thinkers, while also being able to work well in teams. As we move along, you're going to hear from a couple of our students, and I'm sure they'll touch on the impact of this design focus of our school and how well prepared they feel to both work in groups, make presentations on their work, and think critically about the problems that are assigned to them. From an undergraduate perspective, we are very flexible. In that I mean, our students take, at least in the first year, they take a common core of courses that set the foundation for your future studies in engineering, but this also allows you to effectively switch programs. If you've arrived in a major and through this first year of exposure to some other general engineering courses and philosophies and techniques, and you determine that maybe another program is actually where your interests lie, the system is set up to be flexible for you. We've already touched on our emphasis on hands-on collaborative learning. We're a very, very supportive academic environment. We have 3 counselors embedded right in our school that are there every day to help you navigate through your course of studies, as well as any other issues that are coming up. Co-op education is available, and we're going to touch on that in a little bit more detail. It's a very social school. We have a large selection of co-curricular and extracurricular activities. So what that means is it's certainly in the extracurricular. So these are things that exist outside of your studies. Co-curricular, these are events and organizations and opportunities that exist to in line with your curriculum. Creator-owned IP is also fairly unique. So if you were working on an industry-sponsored design project in one of your courses, for example, as the creator, you do own that IP. The university has systems and people in place to help you should you want to further develop that intellectual property. We have ample common computer and student spaces, very strong sense of community. I'm not gonna touch on that one. The students will probably talk about that. We're widely known as the best campus food in Canada, again through Maclean's, but that's a given. That happens every year. And my ever-expanding waistline will tell you that it's true. And consistently, we do boast one of the highest employment rates after graduation in all of our engineering, across all of Ontario's engineering programs. And again, we feel very, very strongly that that's the environment that our students are working and learning in that helps them, we put them in a position to succeed. So I just have a picture, so next slide. We do have 7 fully accredited programs, and by accredited, I mean The Canadian Engineering Accrediting Board, which is made up of professional engineers and academic engineers, on a rotating basis, examine the curriculum, examine the teaching environment, the learning environment of all of our engineering programs across Canada. Our 7 are fully accredited to the highest level possible. So we're very proud of that. That's a lot of work, but our faculty and professors and staff are dedicated to this process. And it ensures that the highest level of education is available. Our 7 programs, biological, biomedical, computer, engineering systems and computing, environmental engineering, mechanical engineering, water resources engineering, and we do have an undeclared where you can start your engineering studies in undeclared, and then I believe by the start of your 3rd semester you need to have made a program choice. I don't want to slow the presentation too much down by reading all of these, but maybe we can have Hillary just sit here for a second. You see the program that you might be most interested in and just have a read of this brief description. And maybe we'll post this if we can a little bit later during the Q&A as well. So let's go to the next slide, Hillary. So just briefly looking at the international admission requirements. So these are not based on performance in these courses, but these are the courses that you would need to have to be able to apply for and be considered for admission to engineering at the University of Guelph. Okay, back to our design spine. I thought we could spend a little bit more time being specific here. This is a huge part of your experience here. In your first year, in your first semester, you'll take on Design 1, which we affectionately refer to as the Teddy Bear Wheelchair Challenge, where you are assigned into a group, usually 4 or 5 students. You're supplied with essentially a mechanical design set, and your task is to build an autonomous vehicle, a self-driving, self-navigating vehicle that you program to accomplish certain tasks, maneuvering through an obstacle course, firing an object at a target, etc. It changes a little bit every year. Students love it. It's a great way to break down barriers and get to know your fellow students and have a little fun right off the bat in first semester. Design 2 is a creative little assignment where you're tasked with designing and building a toy that aligns with the theme of the year. I believe the last couple of years that I can remember, one was an Olympic theme, one was a science fiction theme, where the toys that you're designing align with that theme. All the parts are 3D printed. It must be a little device that you can assemble and disassemble and carry in a small container, and it needs to be powered by self-powered, or I think at the very most you can use an elastic band. Some really amazing designs come out of that. Design 3 is, I always describe this one as you and your colleagues in your group have kind of aligned as an engineering consulting company. You're taking on a problem and presenting back a report. So this is a real professional skills development design course. And Design 4 is your capstone. This is your final design project. Again, the theme is consistent. These are interdisciplinary groups. So you're working with, if you are a computer engineering student, for example, and you have an idea for a project, and you know you need a mechanical or maybe a biomedical student or a water resources student to make it happen. So you're aligning with other people. Again, we feel like this plays into the strength of the University of Guelph student experience. that it is building your experience working with people that think and approach problems differently than you do, bringing an awareness of problem solving in a group setting. So these four are really the backbone of what we call our design stream. Next slide. I'm going to let Hillary talk a little bit about our clubs. Student life at the University of Guelph School of Engineering thrives, and I'm sure, again, as I refer back to the students, you'll hear a little bit about their club and extracurricular involvement.
So we have currently 13 clubs on campus, with the newest one being an agricultural and tech and design club, which just started this past year. The students can probably go into a little bit more detail about the clubs that they have been a part of. But just to name a few, we've got the Griffin Racing Team, which is an applied engineering and design club where students will design and build and race an open-wheeled vehicle, and that's in Michigan every year. The Guelph Hyperloop, they compete against student teams from across the world in SpaceX's design Hyperloop pod competition. And we also have the Great Northern Concrete Toboggan Racing Team, where students will race in a downhill competition with a toboggan that they designed with concrete tracks on it. So, but we'll leave this up for a little bit and you can read through them, but the students will definitely add to part of this.
Yeah, and for those students that may not exactly be familiar with a concrete toboggan, this is sort of a sled made out of concrete that in the winter they're competing for, I think, time sliding down the hill and distance achieved as well. Okay, next slide. Thanks, Hillary. This is a fairly straightforward look at what a non-co-op academic program looks like. Our undergraduate students do not do courses in the summer, or there is no full semester offered in the summer. Courses are available, but no formal full semester. If we can go to the next slide. This is a bit different here. This introduces the idea of where the co-op work terms fit, and you'll see here that the first co-op work placement doesn't occur until the end of your second year. So you have 2 academic full cycles under your belt. By this time you're comfortable in your classes, you're comfortable in your environment, and this provides the best opportunity to head out into your first 4-month work term. 4 months is just about the right amount of time for you to enter into your posting and again get comfortable with what an engineering work environment looks like. You come back to school for a semester and then you leave for 2 more. So we have an 8-month co-op that follows back to school, and then another 8-month. Just something that is notable in that those 2 8 months, the availability of a student for 8 months is very, very attractive to our employers. It does allow for what we call an onboarding process. So you're brought into the company, given your orientation, but it also allows for a lot of time to really dig into your professional assignment and get a lot out of it. So it's valuable to both you as the student and employee. It's also very, very valuable to the employer. And again, I'm going to ask the students to touch a little bit on their co-op experiences. Dual degrees, I think we're just going to move quickly past this, but you can pursue a minor after your second year. And we do have STEM business examples here listed, as well as our arts and humanities. So if you do have broader interests and you're not just dedicated to the study of engineering, you can branch out a little bit and add a minor to your engineering degree. Opportunities for international experience. We do have formal exchange agreements with over 100 partner institutions in 30 countries. Academic semesters abroad are available. Co-op semesters abroad are available. This is an important point to remember here. So if you are applying and if you are accepted to the co-op stream, You can find your employment opportunities in a couple of ways, one of which is that you can work with our co-op coordinators, and these are people that are working in industry to find these opportunities. But as well, if you have your own connections that you would like to utilize, you can essentially establish co-op opportunities of your own, and those can be international opportunities, adding to the experience. And there are ample summer research opportunities. So I'm gonna stop talking to you now. I'd like to introduce Abhinav Chatterjee. I think we'll leave this slide up for a minute while he introduces himself. So Abhinav, if you're there and you want to take it for a minute, that'd be great. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. So I'm just going to introduce myself a little bit and just talk about what my experience has been in University of Guelph so far. My name is Abhinav. I'm an international student from India. I've spent most of my life in East Africa, in Uganda, but I did do a last bit of my high schooling in India. So, and I actually got here when I came to Guelph. I wasn't in engineering; I was in physics, and things like Chris touched on how you can change programs depending on your liking and your interests. So I changed into water resources engineering after my first year, and also into the co-op stream as well. And I would say, I mean, I could go on and on about how my experience has been, but in general, I think, if anything, it has been the most welcoming and the most thrilling experience of my life being in the University of Guelph. Like from the very first day until now, I've made friends for life. I have had the most amount of support from my professors and anybody that's been around me in the engineering community and just in the community as general. I always like to think of University of Guelph like as kind of like a home to me. And it's just a really homely experience. Just the campus in general, it makes you. I still live in Guelph, and I sometimes take a walk to campus now because it just feels really nice. So let me just touch on how my co-op experience has been, because I feel like that is something everybody here may be interested in. So my first co-op was in Brantford, which is about 30 minutes away from here, where I worked for a small drinking water systems company, and we were refurbishing and maintaining small water systems in a lot of schools in Ontario, which really let me see, like me as an international student, I haven't seen much of Canada, so it really helped me see a lot of Western Ontario and visit a lot of places with them. And it was really great experience because I worked for water treatment, which let me get my current co-op in the region of Peel, which is Mississauga, Brampton, and Caledon, which is a little bit towards Toronto. And I currently am working as a process engineer for water process engineer for one of the largest water treatment plants in Canada. And it's been an amazing experience so far. And additionally, just like to touch on how much of an opportunity University of Guelph gives you in terms of succeeding in terms of leadership and clubs and being involved in general. So there is a plethora of ways of getting involved once you come here, and it's all up to you and what you like. And I assure you, there are things here that will definitely echo with your interests. So my interests were very aligned with leadership and trying to help people. So I got into student government in my very first year. I met a great group of people who were part of the student council of our college, which is College of Engineering and Physical Sciences. And after a year, I was eligible to apply for to become part of the executive council. So either become one of the vice presidents or the presidents. So I chose to be appointed. I nominated myself to be vice president of social affairs, and then there's a voting system, just like any kind of election, and then you kind of become appointed as a student leader on campus, which allows you to kind of voice the opinions of a lot of the SEP students. So I put myself, so I was a lot, I used to go to a lot of meetings for just to voice people's opinions, just to voice people's issues if there are any, and also just to make life on campus better. I one of the things I did was really interact with incoming students in terms of planning events for them as in this position. So this was really fun for me, and I did it for 3 years. I just got off the position last year. No, sorry, last month. Another thing that I know may be an interest for a lot of our viewers would be I was part of residence life staff. So that means that I would have been one of the first people you see in terms of living in residence. So being part of residence life staff means that you are a residence assistant amongst many other positions. So it means that it's kind of the person that almost mentors you in residence and also takes care of you in terms of academics, mental health, and other avenues. So I have done that for about 3 years, and I will be continuing to do that in the fall as well. So yeah, and in terms of courses, I know Chris also touched on design courses, and like they are very interdisciplinary, and they really teach you how to work in teams and how to meet deadlines, and it's really designed to emulate real life consulting type situations where you need to meet deadlines very closely, and you also need to make sure that you produce quality work. And I have enjoyed them very much so far, and I still have my last design course left, so I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
Okay, outstanding. Thank you very, very much. I know we're trying to keep we're trying to keep our part of this as brief as possible so that we can get right to the questions. I wonder if the faculty, the professors that we have joining us, might just introduce themselves briefly with what maybe program you're affiliated with, and maybe a brief thought about your experience at the school, if that would be okay. Let's start with Dr. Misra. If you're there, you have to unmute your mic. Manju, unmute. There you go. There you go.
Thank you very much, Chris. And thank you, Chris, Hillary, and Abhinav for giving such a great introduction. It would not have been like better that you have already told everything. So hi, everyone, like greetings. And as already Chris pointed out, my name is Manju Misra, and I am a professor in the School of Engineering. And I am having joint appointment with the Department of Plant Agriculture, also in the University of Guelph. And I belong to the faculty member of Biological Engineering program that you see in the screen. And I am in Guelph since 2008. And prior to that, I was in the United States for 11 years. And before that, I was in Germany for 2 years. And before that, I was in Odisha, India, which is the east coast of India, near Bay of Bengal. And that is also very renowned for the Puri temple as well as for Konark temple. So for me, like I taught on the various undergraduate courses like material science in the past, as well as biological engineering system 1 for over a decade after I arrived in Guelph. And currently I am teaching the graduate course, which is physical properties of biomaterials. So with regards to my field of research, it focused on the sustainable polymeric materials and bio-based composites as well as nanocomposites from various agricultural as well as the forestry resources, various waste utilization, the various waste resources to develop innovative products. And these are all aiming to mitigate the climate change, so to reduce the greenhouse gas emission. As well as I have around 5 products in the marketplace with our team, and that includes the world's first certified compostable single sorb coffee pod, that if you heard about that, or you will know as you be acquainted with Guelph. And with regards to my like kind of international experience with Guelph, as you can, I can say you that I like moved different continents in my career. While I moved in 2008 to Guelph, it was unbelievable because the very welcome community and extremely helpful. I would not believe anything better than Guelph. And as a faculty member of University of Guelph, I actively support the engagement of people with a diverse background and advocating for opportunity for students in STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and math. And I myself also is committed to promoting equity, diversity, and inclusion for the advancement of also women student and underrepresented group in the recruitment and the selection process. So in this case, our laboratory every year hires 6 to 8 undergraduate students in the summer to work on different experience in the different fields of area of sustainable materials. So coming to Guelph, it's really amazing city. You can't believe the city and the community. I love how the city is pursuing to become the best and sustainable community for working towards the circular economy. If you know, like no waste place, zero waste place, so that is the Guelph it is. So it is one of the smartest city of Canada and North America. So as you have seen, the food is one of the best food, like our like in campus serves best food, best living, and very green as well as very clean atmosphere. So I am going, like with this, I am welcoming you, and I can take any question from you later.
Great. Thanks very much. And I'd like you to meet, I think we'll go to Dr. Dutta, Animesh Dutta. If you could just say a couple of words quickly.
Okay, thank you. Welcome to all of you. And I don't want to talk too much, but let me introduce myself a little bit. Already you have heard from Dr. Misra and our Chris Brackett and Hillary. So I am actually from Bangladesh, beside India. And before joining Guelph, I joined Guelph in 2010. Before that, I had the opportunity as a faculty member to serve in 2 other institutes. One is at Asian Institute of Technology in Thailand. Another one is at Dalhousie University here in Nova Scotia. So the moment I moved from these 2 countries to 2 places to Guelph, I realized that probably this is the last place that I don't want to move from anymore. So these kind of community feelings that I have gone into. And as a background, I'm a mechanical engineer, so I'm a professor here. I work in the area of renewable and sustainable energy with a broad context of bioeconomy and circular economy. The reason is that there is nothing called waste, so I focus heavily on waste to wealth to develop a number of things that can replace oil, coal, and gas that we are currently using for petroleum products. So that's my research expert. I teach courses, especially at the higher level, in the 4th year level, that's related to sustainable energy system design, as well as we call it energy conversion, and 1 graduate course on bioenergy and biofuel. So that's all my experience, and I have a number of students currently, about 16 students, and mostly PhD. We do have masters as well as undergraduate opportunity. So welcome to you all at Guelph, and looking forward to see you all. And if you have any question, please do ask. Thank you.
Thanks, Animesh. Manik, do you have any thoughts you'd like to share? You have to unmute. There you go.
Okay. Hello all. My name is Manickavasagan. I'm originally from South India, Tamil Nadu. I obtained my bachelor's and master's from Tamil Nadu Agricultural University, which is located in Coimbatore, in food engineering. So then I got my PhD from the University of Manitoba. So before starting my academic work, I wanted to get some industry experience. So I worked with industries for 8 years. I worked 4 years in India and 4 years here in Canada with McCain Foods Limited. So before joining the University of Guelph, I worked with Sultan Qaboos University in Muscat for about 7 years. So then I moved to University of Guelph 4 years ago, and right now I am an associate professor connected to biological engineering program. So as Animesh mentioned, I decided this is my last destination and I don't want to go because this is a fantastic place, city, and a very nice work environment. So I'm extremely satisfied here. So my research interests are food processing and product development. So we like to have a lot of healthy food research, not only in Canada, we have a lot of activities in India as well. So I teach Design 3 and bioreactor design courses. Something very specific to this group, we also organize a young researchers group. Probably we have to include in that slide also. So we like to motivate research interest among high school students and junior students, junior university students, like first year, second year. So we organize some kind of informal groups, like a formal meeting once a month. And last year we organized even the conference also, Young Researchers Conference. So we are doing, like a lot of research motivating activities. All right, thank you.
Okay, thanks, excellent. And last but definitely not least, Prasad.
Hi everyone, my name is Prasad Daggupati. I'm from Andhra Pradesh in India, and I did my high school and my undergraduate in engineering in Andhra Pradesh. Then I moved to US to do my master's and PhD. Then after finishing my PhD, I worked for 2 years as a postdoc, and then I moved to University of Guelph in 2016. It has been 4 years here at University of Guelph, and I really like the university. I have been in different universities, but this is the best university so far that I really love. The campus is amazing. The city is like Manju said, like, it's one of the smart cities, and it is really beautiful, especially in the summer as well as in the winter. Everything is really good about the city, about the school. So like others said, I don't have any plans to move out of this university. And then also regarding my teaching, so I'm a faculty in water resource engineering as well as in environmental engineering. So I teach courses such as soil and water conservation engineering, in water resource engineering, and hydrology and geographic information systems in environmental engineering. So coming to my research, so I use hydrological and water quality modeling with some artificial intelligence and machine learning to apply them in agricultural water quality, as well as improving the water management and then other things. So that's all about me. I would be more than happy to take any questions at a later time. Thank you very much.
Excellent, thanks Prasad. And I'd like to ask Spencer just to say a few words, just so everybody knows who's answering questions when they come up. So Spencer's a fifth-year student and has lots of great experience that I'm sure he'd be willing to share.
Thanks. I know firstly in chat, my name is coming up as Chris. I don't know why, but I'm Spencer. Yeah, like Chris said, I'm a fifth-year engineering systems and computing student. I'm heavily involved in the School of Engineering, kind of in extracurricular activities. So I'm one of the leaders on the robotics team. We participate in a big competition every year, designing a Mars rover and competing in Alberta, which is in Western Canada, every year. So that's a very cool club that you can join as an undergrad. I won't regurgitate too much other things, but I'm also in co-op. I've had a really great experience in co-op. I've had some excellent experiences programming PLCs at Toronto Airport. I'm doing research for a professor right now this summer, and I have a software developer job lined up for the fall. So those have all been really great experiences. And I can also just quickly touch on the atmosphere. The School of Engineering is so inclusive. You feel very connected to all your fellow students, and it's not very competitive. It feels like everybody's on the same team and trying to help each other out. So just the environment in the School of Engineering as well is just excellent. Can't recommend it enough. I love it here.
Well, I think that's a great way to end the sort of the more formal part of our team presenting to you. We've gone a little longer than I thought, so I know I'm available to stay past the hour, and I'd like to ask any of our panel members that don't have to rush off at 10 if they can stay a little longer, so we can get to all the great questions that I'm sure are coming. So I'm going to hand it back to Palak, I believe is going to moderate the Q&A.
Yeah. Thank you, Team Guelph. This has indeed been an extremely helpful session for all our students and counselors who joined us. Participants, now you have the time. Although we already have a couple of questions with us, but send in your questions with the Q&A button towards the end of your screen. We will be taking them as we go through the session. And yes, so the first question is, we have a student, Akarsh, who's wanting to know, is there a dedicated course for automobile engineering? Chris, would you like to address that?
I could. I'm going to ask Dr. Dutta from our mechanical engineering program if he could field this one.
Well, this is a good question indeed. Actually, what we have a minor stream, we call it energy stream. And within the energy stream, the student will have the opportunity to take a number of courses and number of elective courses. So in our mechanical engineering program, we have something called core. So everybody will have the opportunity to take all those courses. So in that course, we don't teach automobile per se as a real thing, but we do take the very basic of automobile engineering related courses. For example, how things work, even their automation and so on. But we have dedicated courses in the elective streams, something like if you want to go to mechatronics stream, so you need to know how these operate and automation happens. If you want to develop some renewable form of it, there is energy courses where we do teach some part of automobile engineering. But as a part of program, we don't have automobile engineering program, but within the energy, there is a part where people has the opportunity, or a student will have the opportunity to know about, or automotive vehicle, if that's what your question is. Am I able to answer the question per se?
Yeah, I think that's great. I'll just add to it. We don't have a course that is exactly titled automobile engineering, but that field of study is included in mechanical. Yeah, so I think we can move on.
All right. The next question we have is from Mahant. Do you have artificial intelligence?
We absolutely do have studies in the field of artificial intelligence. I'm just thinking who's best. Maybe Spencer could talk a little bit about his experience touching on any AI related courses, if that's possible.
Yeah, definitely. So first of all, we have a professor in our School of Engineering who's world renowned for his research in artificial intelligence, and he actually crafted a third-year course called Modeling Complex Systems. And in that course, you kind of learn how to break a problem down into like a systems point of view and solve it using programming. That's the course you take in engineering systems and computing. I think it's an elective for computer engineering, but in that course, you have the opportunity to do a project in any data science related field. So a lot of people do theirs in artificial intelligence and get to work with the professor of the course on their project, kind of one-on-one. I did mine on computer vision, which is sort of based on AI, and that was a really great experience, and it was a good introduction to AI, computer vision, data science. I would really, really recommend that third-year course if you go into engineering systems and computing.
Okay, thanks, Spencer. We also have a fairly new research institute that has been established under the direction of that same professor. The institute is called CARE AI, and essentially it is the study of artificial intelligence and the it can really be boiled down to simply the responsible and ethical application of artificial intelligence alongside of the technical aspects of the field. That is that's a research institute, but when you establish something like that, it tends to gather expertise around that area, which always influences your undergraduate offerings and curriculum.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you.
So I think we're ready for the next one.
Yeah. So this is from Anuj. Anuj has a couple of questions, and I think a few of his questions have also been addressed by Jimmy separately. So he's asking, do you have someone right now online who could elaborate more on the robotics courses? What are the robotic courses like?
Absolutely. I'm going to go ask Spencer to weigh in here.
Sure, I can touch on that briefly. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, there's quite a few robotics courses you can take. There's Introduction and Advanced Mechatronic Systems, in which you kind of learn the overall components of a mechatronic system, so sensing, processing, and actuating. So you learn about different microcontrollers and motors and servos. And then in Advanced Mechatronic Systems, you learn kind of about robot control and control theory for robots and stuff like that. But my favorite course is Robotics Systems, which is a 4th-year course. And you learn about robotic manipulators, like you would see in a factory somewhere. And then in our lab, we actually have the same robotic manipulators that you might see in industry, but we have them in our lab. And each lab period, you get to work with one of the arms, one of the robotic manipulators, and program it. And it's very cool to work with these arms in the lab at school. And then you get to go to a factory somewhere and see the exact same arms being used. So that was a really, really cool robotics course that I took.
Wonderful.
Excellent. Thank you.
The next question we have is from Yash. He says, I'm an undergrad student in the field of life sciences. I would like to know about the master's opportunities in biotechnology or bioinformatics. Also, I would like to know whether the university offers summer internships or not.
Okay, Yash, that I'm not sure that at our school falls in engineering. I'd possibly like maybe one of the faculty if they have an answer that they could offer here. If anybody's prepared, if we're not able to answer this question, we will commit to get you this information offline, as I believe we'll be receiving these questions and possibly even contact information for you. So do any of the faculty online have anything to add in this area? Opportunities in biotechnology or bioinformatics? Okay, so I don't think anybody is, so I'm sorry, we're not going to be able to answer that with our current sort of field of expertise online. But as I suggested, if we can have this question forwarded to us, we will provide sort of the best answer that we can for you. I apologize.
All right. I mean, I'll take this opportunity to remind all our students right now that we will be sharing, these questions with the faculty and the presenters at University of Guelph. So send in us your questions, and even if we are not able to address them right now, you'll surely get an answer in the next couple of days. And also for, we will be typing in the chat box and sharing with you the link to register online with GenNext Education for further advising. This way you can connect with your counselor on ground, and she can also, get in more questions from you and get those questions to the team at Guelph for more answers. Moving on, does the university have any incubators or accelerators for someone looking to set up a startup? I want to run a company in robotics, hence this question.
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. We do. The university does through a couple of different opportunities. We have our Research Innovation Office, primarily responsible for working with our faculty members and their research endeavors, but students are often very much involved in those opportunities. The opportunity that we have that's directed at our students is through a partnership with our business school, the Lang School of Business, where there is an incubator program, funding available, mentorships in your field of interest are set up. So yes, absolutely we do. It's not dedicated to our School of Engineering, but it is certainly a great program that has supported lots of student-led businesses being established that have gone on to great success. So we do. It is in partnership with our School of Business across campus.
Great. We'll move on to the next one.
Sure.
Which stream should I opt to pursue software engineering? So just to give all our panelists a slight context behind stream idea, I'm sure you guys are aware, but for everyone, in India, after class 10th, students generally are given a choice to opt for 3 streams. One is science, then commerce, and humanities or liberal arts. And science stream would ideally have physics, chemistry, mathematics, computer science courses like that. The student here wishes to know which stream should they adopt to pursue software engineering. So I mean, Chris, would you like to just highlight some of the key essential subjects that the student might have to study?
Oh, I see. Sure, certainly. Just briefly, from our perspective, the program that is offered in software engineering is being offered by our School of Computer Science. They are a partner of ours in our College of Engineering and Physical Sciences. I think maybe Spencer might be the best to answer this question from a subjects that would be best to focus on in preparation for computer engineering. If you're okay with that, Spencer.
Yeah, I can kind of, yeah. So, okay, as far as programming experience goes, you don't necessarily need any programming experience going into any software engineering, computer engineering programs, because all the first year courses are taught as if you haven't programmed before, but the languages used in first year, depending on what major you're pursuing, are Python and C. Any experience in those would be useful because it would kind of set you ahead, but you don't necessarily need experience in that.
Maybe I can add a little bit, Chris, if you allow me.
Yes, please, please.
I came from the same one, and as well as Manju and Prasad and also Manik. I know that in those South Asian countries, we have 3 streams. One is science, one is commerce, one is humanities. So usually a student from the science background will be able to pursue it better way. So I must say that probably you should take the science stream in order to come to the engineering or computer science related field.
Okay, thanks, Animesh. Thank you for adding that.
Grade 11 and 12. I'm talking about in grade 11 and 12.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Moving on. Hi, could you please tell us what is the scope of bioengineering in the industry and what is its future?
Okay, I'm going to look to one of the professors to possibly who feels best positioned to answer this, possibly Dr. Misra, maybe Dr. Annamalai. Either of you weigh in here?
Okay, so.
Thank you.
I think Manik can join too.
Sure, definitely. Please start, Dr. We can definitely, yeah.
Exactly, and same way also a part of this bioengineering, also Animesh. He also our one of the collaborators. So I would say it is a like really kind of a vast field, from starting from like food engineering to like food fermentation, pharmaceutical, biological to biomedical. So there is kind of the lot of avenues one can select as a career as you join the program, because it is very diversified. So we have like the strong in the food, as I told, like Manik can add a little bit more on that part, which is really unique to Canada, because our university is agri-food university, #1 in Canada and #3 in North America. So a lot of opportunity there. And as you kind of someone graduates, around that time they decide which master's program or which PhD program they would be going. As I can say that students have gone to various directions, including even the medicine. They have gone to med school. As you know, in North America, you have to have a undergraduate degree in order to go for the medical school. So they also have done it through that. So I would ask Manik and Animesh to add a little bit to this.
Sure, yeah. So as Professor Manju mentioned, it's a very, very diversified area. So bioengineering or biological engineering is kind of very diversified. So you learn a lot of general engineering courses, and then we have electives, a lot of electives. So around 20% of the courses, you will be specializing in some area. So some possible areas are food engineering, pharmaceutical engineering, and even biomaterials. Lots of specialization is possible through this team. So since I'm in food area, I can explain the opportunities if you specialize in food engineering or food processing. So as this is the fantastic place to do food related research. University of Guelph is #1 for the whole Canada actually. So, and in addition to that, the opportunities, the university is kind of located in a place where we have central research institute for food and also state research institute for food. So we have access to everything. So before getting the opportunity, you have the opportunity to learn and kind of get trained in that area. So after that, huge. I don't think anyone is looking for jobs still, because we have in this state we have more than 3,000 food industries. So that is, I think, #1 state in the whole North America actually in terms of number of food industries. So industry-wise, we have opportunities, and you can, if you are interested to pursue research, we have a lot of ongoing research with the full scholarship. We have lots of graduate students, because my work is on food quality. I have around 7 PhD students, all are from India, and huge opportunities for higher studies also. Yep, Animesh, you have something?
Yeah, thank you. No, actually, I don't have need to add anything. Maybe one thing, just only in Ontario itself, which is the largest province in Canada, I think food and automobile, these are the two sectors have the most job employment opportunity. So just to add.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So I can conclude with saying that anybody like joining biological engineering or our School of Engineering, they will be having I think 3 jobs in line after graduation for one candidate. So you can believe that there's a lot of opportunity in this area and for the U of G graduates. So yeah, that is what it is. Thank you, Chris. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Misra. Moving on to the next question. Do your systems allow for cross-study subject? For example, how to use robotics in agriculture at undergrad level?
Oh, yes, I absolutely. That specific example, I'm just wondering if Prasad has any experience in that area that he might like to comment. I know Prasad, certainly his research involves the use of drones and various spectral imaging. I'm not sure if you want to just expand on that question a little bit.
Sure. Yes, definitely. Yes. I don't use robotics as such, but I use drones. Just yesterday, I have my summer student, undergraduate student, and we flew drones with thermal, multispectral, different cameras, just to understand how the crops behave with different climate conditions and then everything. Definitely, there is a lot of opportunities for undergraduate students, and both in different fields. Like even though I'm in water resource
Aerosports Engineering, but I had an student from computer science to help me with the drone and then everything. So so it's definitely a very there's a lot of opportunities for students to mingle in different fields. That's a beauty of School of Engineering that I have not seen anywhere else. Like, you know, even though I'm from Water Resource Engineering, I hired students from computer science, and then even sometimes for another project, I'm planning to hire a student from mechanical engineering in the following year. Because we got another project where we need to build an system to show to the farmers about how the tile drainage or how the water movement in the soil moves and things like that. So it's that's a beauty of School of Engineering. Like, you know, we cross collaborate with departments and things like that. It's really good. Thanks.
Yeah. Chris, can I add something to him?
Please.
Yeah, so when you talk about cross-linking, I think the current structure is really very unique in Canada. Like, we are not departmentalized. Like, when the universities, if you go to a university with the different departments, that one is kind of siloed. So the students from one department, they have very limited access to the next department. Whereas here, it's coming under one school. So in most of your mandatory courses, you will have students from other departments. So definitely all the time, you will have an opportunity to cross-link with other students and professors from other areas also. So in the design courses where like design 3, design 4, Chris was kind of listing and explaining in his presentation. So there students have to do as a group project. So when you talk about groups, you can choose the group members based on your project. So most of the time we see the students from kind of different groups. So, and also intern also, you can work with the professor. For example, a student is working on robotics. He wants to do some kind of, summer experience with some professor who is working in agriculture related job. Always they can approach the professor and then, get some experience in the 4 months. So lots of opportunities for cross-linking, not only agriculture and robotics, you can make any combinations.
Maybe
Okay.
I can add just one last line. The professor who is teaching robotics has a project using robots for apple and tomato picking. So it's a direct application to agriculture. So a student has the opportunity to work in that area as well.
Excellent. Thank you all for adding to that.
Mm-hmm. The next question that we have is, can undergraduate students work with professors on research projects? I think some part of this has already been addressed, but if you would like to throw some more light on this.
Yes, absolutely. I'm wondering, we haven't heard from Abhinav in a bit. Have you done any research with your profs?
No, not currently. I haven't done any research with profs, but I know it is something that's possible, especially as an international student. It is very recommended, and a lot of my friends who are international students have chosen to do that path. And it's important to note that there's two different kinds of research projects that I think students will figure out, like once they come here. There's a USRA that international students can do. It's almost like an award, so it looks really good on your resume as well.
Abhinav, can you explain USRA a little bit more so that, it's a new terminology to them?
I wish I had more information about
it's a central government scholarship, actually.
Yes.
So even you can work with some scholarship, actually. That's what I wanted to say.
Yes. Thank you
Sure.
so much for that.
Yeah, if any of the faculty have hired undergraduate research students, we'd be happy to hear from you on maybe what the project was and how you appreciate being able to work with the undergrads. I'm sure one of you must have.
I can add to this. Like I said, this summer I had an USRA who is helping me with the drones and other things, right? So the project for him is, I have a drone and I have 3 different cameras. Like one is a thermal camera, one is multispectral, one is the regular camera. So the current situation is I need to run one flight with every camera. So the project for the student is to assemble all those things into one drone so that it can fly at one time, and then I can collect all images in one time instead of flying individual times. So that is the project. So that is opportunity for a student to learn from it, and then it's an government scholarship and then everything, so that he can put that in his profile and other things.
Great, thank you. Yeah, so USRA is undergraduate summer research assistantship, I believe.
Yep.
Just to clarify for people that are hearing that term.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Thanks, Prasad.
Yeah. Could you give some examples of companies where students are doing internships? Co-ops, I believe, is the terminology you're using. So this is the question the student have.
Okay, well, we boast what I believe, and one of the top co-op streams in any engineering school. I believe this not just because I work here and appreciate everything about it, but we do hear from employers how amazing our students are, and in a number of cases, I have heard stories about our new employers deciding to only hire Guelph students from now on just because they are so successful in the work environment. But I think best to invite Abhinav and Spencer just to give you an idea of the jobs that they had. We have we have 4 full-time dedicated people that their sole job is to find the positions for our co-op students. And as I briefly suggested earlier, there's 2 ways these jobs are found. One is through our internal relationships of those co-op coordinators. The other is through the possible relationships that the co-op students themselves have. The variety would be too broad to put in any kind of list. We have people working in Silicon Valley. We have people working in the farming fields of the American Midwest. We have people working everywhere. So maybe I'll just ask our 2 students to comment about their experience and what variety of positions they've been able to work in. Go ahead, guys.
Yeah, for sure. Firstly, I'd like to touch upon how helpful the co-op advisors have been, because there's a lot of things. As an international student, I know this may be interest to the people who are viewing. You have to go through a lot of processes and different work permits. So there's organizations such as the International Student Organization, which is a club on campus that helps us. And we have international student advisors who are actually currently helping me with my work permit extension. So there is a lot of resources that help you in terms of documents and stuff. Additionally, I do speak to my co-op advisors very often, and we always speak about different opportunities that we can have in terms of what we can see, and they always help me explore different opportunities. So in terms of companies that I've worked for a very small company, and now I'm working for a very large municipality. And it really depends on what your interests are. And like I can tell you, our advisors work really hard in terms of training you to interview and also reach out in terms of networking with different consulting companies and different municipalities. So like Chris said, it's a very broad spectrum, and it really it has to align with your interests as well. So, and the opportunities are so vast. Like it really, Guelph really attracts a lot of different companies. And I know recently I have been speaking to a lot of people, even my own company, and they said that they really like hiring Guelph students only because of our really good, because we try to ensure that most of our courses and group work is interdisciplinary, so which ensures that when we work in a real life work environment, not everybody's going to be from the same sort of background in terms of academics. So it really helps us connect with them in terms of the work we are doing, and they really like that from our Guelph students.
Excellent. I think we've lost Spencer to either a poor internet connection or possibly another meeting. So I just want to thank Abhinav, and Spencer won't be weighing in. I'd just like to add on this subject that not all of our students are able to join the co-op stream. I believe there are, you know, there are broader plans at the School of Engineering to expand the co-op and try to accommodate more students. If you're in the non-co-op stream, I don't want you to think that there are no opportunities for you. Over the course of a regular year, we have professional development conferences where we invite engineers and people from relevant industries to come and speak and meet students. We have regular career panels where we will have a themed night. For example, there'll be a biomedical engineering career panel where we invite a number of people from the industry to come and present on their company, review resumes, talk about career tips and things like that. We have a career night where we have probably close to 50 of our alumni come back to talk to students about career advice, and things to consider. There's constantly opportunities for our students to meet with current engineers, people from industry. It's not just limited to the co-op stream, and I just thought that that was important to mention.
Certainly, thank you, Chris, and everyone else for that such a detailed answer. We also, as I introduced earlier, Mr. Jimmy is here from the International Admissions Office. He has a question to ask. Jimmy, you can unmute yourself and we're ready to hear you.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. So this is kind of a question that I get quite a bit from mainly from the Indian market, actually. A lot of engineering schools are asking for physics as one of the requirements for admission. We are asking for 2 out of the 3 sciences. If they come in with biology and chemistry but do not have physics, are they disadvantaged because of that? Is physics the course that you would recommend them to have when they come into engineering?
Okay, faculty, student, anybody like to weigh in?
I can speak to it a little bit.
Thank you.
Like we said, coming into an engineering program, it is almost better to kind of have that kind of base of having all the sciences, because you do take them in your first year. Having said that, it is if you're going to have to revisit some of the concepts again in your first year. So in the offset that you haven't taken it, it is not a disadvantage at all. Like in first year, the professors and the course curriculum does an absolutely amazing job trying to get back into the grade 12 concepts and expanding on them, so that you can have just the knowledge needed to progress in terms of your second year and your third year courses. And I know a lot of people, especially from like me myself, I took IB in India. So if you do achieve a grade, you get a credit so that you can not take the course as well. So if you do take those courses, you have you get that advantage as well.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks. I hope that answers the question for everyone.
Yeah. All right. Our next question is, do we have any programs related to aeronautical engineering? We also have, I'm just going to couple it up with another question that we got from a student who wishes to know if we have anything on in the field of aerospace.
We don't really offer in those 2 fields. We do work within our mechanical engineering program. There are lots of opportunities to work in the field of novel materials, lightweighting of steels, aluminum alloys and mixes, but nothing specifically in the aeronautical or aerospace field.
Maybe I can add a few things. Please,
yeah, please do, Animesh. Please do.
Okay. Yes, in support of Chris' answer, yes, we do not have. However, we have 2 programs. We call it energy as well as mechatronics within the mechanical as a stream. And there are a number of courses that can deal with those things. For example, we have computational fluid dynamics that usually simulate how an aeroplane will be in the simulated condition and so on. So we have a specific courses, but not as per se program that leads to aerospace or aeronautical engineering, give you a major in that area. But we do have some related courses as a part of mechanical engineering program. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you. All right, the next question is co-op jobs provided by the university itself, or do we have the option to choose between them? I think the student here is wanting to know if these opportunities are provided by the university, or they can also individually look out, keep a check on such opportunities available to them.
Great. Go ahead, Abhinav.
Right. So there are co-op jobs. So the co-op department has a hub called Experience Guelph, in which once you're a co-op student, you can log into it as a co-op student. And also, if you're not a co-op student, you can log into it. It just has a different different tab for co-op where all the companies post their co-op jobs, and you can apply to them. It's a very simple process. You need to just submit your resume and your cover letter that has to be targeted to the job description. And then you can, it's a great portal where you can see if you have an interview, and then you do the interviews in the co-op office. Having said that, you can also, I've had friends who have also looked for co-op opportunities outside of the Experience Guelph hub, and that is also completely acceptable. And as long as you speak to your co-op department about it, there's certain criteria that you have to meet for it to be a co-op job. So that's the only reason why you need to kind of check with the co-op department. But other than that, yeah, both those options are you can pursue both those options.
Thank you. Abhinav, we're just going to pull you. There's another student who wishes to know what exactly is a co-op. I believe the student is, right now just moving through the senior year. So if you could just very basically throw some light on that.
For sure. So a co-op program is basically work experience in the middle of your academic terms. So I think on the screen, what's up there right now is the academic program co-op, what it looks like. So you need to meet at least 16 out of 20 months to get a co-op designation. And what it does is that it allows you to gain a work experience while in the middle of your study programs. So you can apply for jobs and be a full-time employee for about 4 or 8 months, which really allows you to kind of network, gain experience in terms of working in an office. And I can just say from my own experience, I have seen real growth in terms of just little things like time management or just being able to meet really stringent deadlines. And I am also able to apply a lot of things I've learned in classes from some of the profs that are on this panel into my co-op experiences. So it's a very direct relationship. So I would really recommend for a lot of incoming students to apply for co-op.
Can I jump in for 2 seconds?
Yep.
I just want to mention the co-op program as well, that students that see this, and parents for that matter, often look at it and they see 5 years, and that kind of works as a deterrent for them. But just to highlight or emphasize that when they're doing their co-op terms, they don't pay tuition, okay? You only pay your tuition for the academic terms. You will pay a co-op fee during a co-op term, but that's $270, I believe, or something similar. So that should not be a deterrent. Just to clarify on that point.
Right, and to add that to that, the student is paid on their co-op. So these are, I think there are very, very rare circumstances where the pay is sort of nominal for the experience, but by and large, the students are paid a fairly comfortable wage. I see Abhinav is shaking his head in agreement. So while you're not paying tuition for that semester, you're also earning money in that semester.
Yeah,
which
and
is
the pay is
an added
competitive.
bonus.
Yeah, the pay is great point, and the pay is very competitive. And the more you progress, the higher your pay gets. Like your second or third work term will be very much higher than the one that's before. So.
Right.
That's quite informative. All right. So are there any specializations for environmental engineering course?
Absolutely. Our School of Engineering is viewed as one of the pioneers in environmental engineering. I'd like to invite any of the faculty to comment on it. Prasad, possibly Animesh.
I can add few things. So some specialties
Please.
or specialization that we have are air pollution, soil mechanics, environmental engineering also do take some water resource engineering courses or do specialize a little bit in water resources, like for example, wastewater treatment as well as watershed systems design and things like that.
Maybe something on waste management and resource management. That is another things. And life cycle assessment. These are certain things also you will be exposed to while you take course on environmental engineering.
Thank you, both. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah. All right. So are there any co-op labs in, I think, opportunities in the automobile sector? Yeah.
Absolutely, there are. I think it was mentioned earlier, possibly Animesh mentioned it in passing, that the food and the automobile sector are the two largest economic sectors in the province of Ontario. With regards to automobiles, in Guelph, in our city, the headquarters of Linamar Corporation is there, and Linamar is the second largest automotive parts manufacturer in Canada, and a major player on the world scene with about 65 factories across the globe. They are one of our largest single co-op employers on an annual basis. They are one of the groups that absolutely love our students, so the flexibility and the adaptability of our students, so they are on board every year. About 30 minutes down the road, there's a major Toyota manufacturing operation there. They hire our students. And then as well, if you can imagine how large our automotive sector is, I guess there's a list of, I couldn't name everybody on the list, but Magna hires from us. Denso, a car parts manufacturer, hire from us. So the list goes on. It's one of the great areas of opportunity for co-op in our school.
Okay, thank you. The next question is, will GenNext help me with the visa process? Certainly, we've already mentioned in the chat box the link to register with us online. It is www.imfutureready.com. Once you register, your counselor will get in touch with you, and we can get you through the process right from the application to pre-departure, which will be inclusive of the visa process. So moving on, the last question is, how many credit points do I need per semester?
Abhinav, can you talk about what your normal semester looks like of full-time study?
Sure. Yeah, so you start off with about 5 courses a semester in first year, and that's about 2.5 credits, given that each course is about 0.5 credits. Design courses are 0.75 credits. So sometimes you go above 2.5, and then proceeding towards second year, you take about 6 courses. And if you're in co-op, you will be taking a co-op course which has 0 credits, but that just helps you like how to build a resume, how to do interviews. So it's a very important course. So you move into 6 courses where you do about, sometimes you may be doing about 2.75 or 3 courses. However, you can also, it really depends upon you and your workload, but if you follow what's given in your program calendar, you will be doing about 5 to 6 courses, and each semester will be anywhere between 2.5 to 3 credits.
Abhinav, is there any minimum requirement, like how many courses we have to take to be a full-time student?
Yes, there is. I believe it's above 1.5 credits. So it has to be above 3 courses. if I'm not wrong.
I believe you're right. Yes.
Thank you.
And can you say what is the load for 0.5 credit, means how many contact hours for the student, just to get a feelings?
Ooh, that's a very right.
Yeah.
I believe it was
Approximately, yeah, approximately.
I want to
3 classes
say
in a week. 3
7.
classes in a
Oh
week.
yeah, 3 classes in a week. Right. So yeah, in a week
Oh,
it'd be about 3 classes. Each class is about 50 minutes, and if you have 2 classes, it'd be about 1.5, about 90 minutes. Yeah.
Excellent.
Sounds good. All right. With that, we winded up the Q&A session. Thank you so much. To the entire team, Chris, Hillary, along with all the faculty members and the students who took out time from the schedules for today's webinar, and also Jimmy for coordinating this. A big thanks to you. We look forward to connecting very soon with all our participants. I hope it was helpful. All the details are currently mentioned on your screen. For your free advising, you can register with us. And also, if there are any more questions that you have for the faculty or with the admissions or scholarships department, please send it across to us, and we'll get them to the university and get your answers from them. So once again, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Palak.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for putting this together, and thanks to the panel here. You guys were great. I appreciate you being involved.
Thank you,
Thanks.
guys.
Thank you.
Enjoy the day. Thank you. Bye.
Looking forward to seeing you sometime soon. I don't know when it's going to be, but I can't wait to see you guys. So stay
Thank
well.
you. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.